Welcome back, ladies and gents. As you already would guess, it's Wednesday and we got a pocket change market report. February 7, 2024. This month, it just continues to hammer in. Oh boy. Before we know it, it's going to be springtime and all of the big shows are going to be coming around the mountain. This is incredible just how quickly things are progressing in 2024, and finding some of these coins out in circulation still important, still a lot of fun. You get to add stuff to your collection that generally will cost you face value. That's exciting. But there's also that base of people that do this sort of thing to hunt coin rolls and go to a coin shop and cherry pick some of these varieties and errors just so they could resell them. And do really well. The market responds really well to a lot of these coins that we're going to take a look at here today on the Pocket Change Market Report. Does it need any more introduction after many years of doing this? Probably not. But we do have a lot of new people that constantly come in to view this particular video alongside the Monday Market Report on my channel. And, I wouldn't be a completionist if I didn't at least explain a little bit about what this is and how the market is impacted by things that you do find out there. As long as there's some sort of human intervention at the mints, there's always going to be errors. There's always going to be those varieties. So that kind of like makes the thrill of the hunt that much more exciting. A few, things like usual. We don't normally talk about graded coins, although this week, this is a special week. We have one coin that is graded that we're going to talk about, and it's kind of a microcosm of this one particular coin that if you're able to find any mint error whatsoever on this one particular coin, they are incredibly valuable. The market is absolutely stupid right now. STOOPID, stupid, about this one particular coin. Yes, I'm kind of like dangling the carrot because you guys need to find out for yourself. So we're going to take a look at that one. But normally we don't talk about graded coins. The idea is you find these things and you just go ahead and take pictures of them and send them off onto eBay, 5-7 day auction. And photos. Photos, we use the original photos that are given to us by the original sellers of these listings. So what we have out there is what we get. We're going to get the best and the worst photos. You're going to see where that low bar is being set. And ladies and gents, it is low. So that's going to bode really well for a lot of you that may struggle with photography of coins and paper money. You're going to see firsthand how that works. All right, so like normal, we have a calendar of events. I saw on the platform Whatnot, we did have our early spring coin auction. $1 starts, heating up. That was yesterday. So that particular event has come and gone. But come by on Friday. We got the Smoke Show Coin and Currency Sales event. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of bangers are going to be there. All different price levels. We ended up getting some new inventory in that you guys need to take a look at. If you're interested in adding something really nice to your collection, you might find something that might be to your liking on this Friday show. That's going to be February 9th, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we also have our good friend Chad from Encore Gold and Coin that's also going to be selling right that evening as well. So we're going to send everybody off to his stream. I think... I think you guys will be impressed with what he has to offer. He is a coin dealer, so he's gonna come out guns a-blazing. If you haven't joined into the event, we do always a live stream that coincides with the actual live stream that we do on Whatnot. But you could always sign up. I have my referral link down below in the description box. You could earn yourself $15 in usable store credit right away on your first purchase. How cool is that? But come join us, either as an attendee or a buyer, we have tons of new people constantly coming in to check things out. So I welcome you each and every single time that we have a show. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. These coins are not going to talk about themselves. We have 27 lots. We're going to start things off here with a 1999 Lincoln Memorial cent. This one obviously struck off center out of collar, approximately 12%, 12-15% here on this one. Sold for $15.60 off of 7 bids. Keep in mind, coins dated from about 98 to 2001. These were found in mint-sewn bags, direct from the Federal Reserve Bank. So there was quite a few of these that did circulate. And that would explain why they're somewhat affordable. Now, much nicer condition coins with full readable dates are going to command a little bit more of a premium. So if you do come across these and they're inexpensive at a coin shop or maybe your show that you have going on nearest you, you might want to consider picking it up for the mere practice of flipping it. You know, if you could double your money, perfect, your job's done. The next one that we have here, too bad it's not in much nicer condition because I've actually sold this particular coin for 30, 40, 50 bucks on certain occasions, but it's a 1964D candy half dollar. It's the last year of the 90% silver composition, and there are a boatload of different varieties, a bunch of repunch mint marks, a bunch of doubled dies to look for on this date, and specifically the Denver mint mark is going to be the one that carries a lot of potential here. So this one right here is the quadrupled die obverse. It's the FS105. It's a cherry picker's guide variety. It's quite nice. Again, I just kind of wish that was a much higher condition, but you could see the 4 punchings on this one, which is all brought upon, you know, the amount of times that the working hub created a new working die. All right, so quite phenomenal here with this one. I think if you looked at the letter W in we, you could see the amount of doubling on that one. All right, it's just incredible. You should see it punched 4 times on there, and I do. $15.95 seems like a bargain on this one because, again, I've sold them for at the very least 30 bucks and up. This one might have just been a little bit of an oversight for a lot of collectors out there. All right, so again, condition does play a role here. Wish it was a much better condition to show the splits in the devices. This one is just kind of weak in my book. Here's another off-center struck coin. So we saw in 99, okay? Fast forward 21 years. And here we are. This is kind of like the modern age of coinage, you know? We are in 2024. This coin is only a few years old. And, you know, mint employees are still making mistakes. All right, maybe not necessarily the mint employees, but the machinery that is supposed to be autonomous and replace humans in the production of a lot of things, they're still not getting it right. Okay, it's not a flawless procedure by any means. There you go, nice little off-center struck 2020 pandemic era Lincoln set. Probably a little partial tilted collar in there as well. $17.12. All right, so if you do come across these, and a lot of people have in those original bank wrap rolls, hold on to them. You know, they're worth way more than 1 cent. We have another one right here. This is a date that we don't see nearly as often as, say, 1983 or 1984. 1982, Philadelphia, Washington quarter, struck off center by about 10%. The only negative downside is this one has a few well-placed digs or hits on the reverse. I don't know what that's about. It is quite distracting. And again, things like that does ultimately impact the value. This one I can tell you did sell for $32, but if it didn't have the issues on the reverse, could it have been a $50 coin or $60? It's anybody's guess. What I can tell you, 1982 off-center struck coins, Washington quarters specifically, yeah, we just don't see them nearly as much as some of the other later dates. So, yeah, always welcome to see one of these, and in spite of the details, affectations on the reverse, Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is. And they are out there. You just, you know, me personally, where I care about the overall appearance of a coin, this person did the right thing and just sold it to someone that really does need it. Yeah, we had a few pieces of currency, not as much as over the weekend, but how about this 1977 $20 bill? You know, a good old small head portrait design. Oh, how I miss these. This one has what they call a gutter fold that splits right there on the right third of the note. The subject sheet just simply had a wrinkle and it was printed over. All right, real simple. That's about as easy as you could explain how a gutter fold works. So this one right here, the wrinkle in the sheet never got stretched out at any one point during any of the 3 print processes. They print the back first, and then the front, and then the overprint with the serial numbers and district seals third. So at no time was this addressed, and as a result, we have a true gutter going through all 3 processes, which is really cool to see. $71 on this one. It was actually a buy it now hit, if I'm not mistaken. And a good looking note. I mean, it does have some circulation wear, and it's not distracting at all. Yeah, and this is one right here, West Virginia State Quarter. This is actually a very common anomaly to look for out there. So if you're an avid quarter hunter, keep your eyes peeled for some of these cut die breaks. This one right here, if you look at the reverse at about 7 and 8 o'clock position on the rim of the coin, you can see that raised blob area. So this is actually a very common spot where you have the design of the quarter going all the way up to the rim. And there's still a little bit of a channel there. That's part of the design. This is actually a very, what do you call it? This is a very weak area on the die. So it tends to fracture, crack, pieces fall out every so often. And because there's an empty cavity in that spot, when these coins are being struck with the affected die, all the metal flow is going to go into that empty cavity, thereby creating these raised blobs that go from the rim to the design. So this one right here is $16.98. I always say cuds are king, and I stand firmly behind that. The state quarter cuds that you find on West Virginia, South Dakota quarters, and a few others, these are all, Montana is another one. These are all quite common. So, you know, if you're on the East Coast, chances are you'll probably come across this through your quarter hunts. More quarters. Here's the 1984 Philly. Case in point. Now, this is a much cleaner looking example than the 82 because it has no damage whatsoever on the coin. Slightly off center, you know, probably 5-7%. Nothing too crazy. You know, I could imagine there's probably a little bit of a partial collar here on this one. But yeah, still a necessity. Much higher graded coins are constantly being picked up, and they're replacing less desirable pieces in a date set. And there are folks that are collecting these by date. So this one here, $35 was the sale price, considering that it's, you know, quite a minor off-center type of percentage. It's still going to be desired because of its overall condition. All right, pretty cool one here, and a much newer date from what we're used to seeing for a misaligned overprint. This is a 2003A dated $1 bill, and you know, these are still circulating out there. I find lots of bills with 2003 dates on them, and 2006 and 2009. All these series dates I still find quite a bit out there in circulation. Now this one obviously has a grossly misaligned overprint that shifted all the way to the left. The back, perfectly normal here. So if you're looking at the back, make sure you flip your note over every time if you're searching for some neat stuff. Believe it or not, this gets passed over and missed quite often. And judging from the condition, this thing has circulated quite a bit. Indicating that not too many people actually cared to, you know, to pull this one aside because of curiosity. So this particular note, really nice sale, $122.99, and that's with 14 bids on this one. Always quite equitable on the secondary market, and you're going to have no problem selling these if you have them. So, yeah, I always tell folks, if you're going to take pictures of your coins for the sales that you're doing, make sure it's a full obverse and reverse. Okay, this one, close, not quite the cigar, and fortunately there was just enough of information here from both sides of the coin that this one sold reasonably. 1956 D over D repunch mint mark. This is a very well-known, completely separated Denver mint mark repunching on this one. One of my favorites. They call this one the FS 508 or RPM number 8 in some of the attribution guides, but check that out. So where you see the Denver mint mark, you could see a completely disconnected Denver mint mark that's further south from the primary mint mark on this one. All right, so if you do come across one of these, you have your magnifier handy and you're looking at your coin, and you do notice that shadow D underneath the primary mint mark, congratulations, you have one of the more desirable 1950s repunch mint marks. It's a cherry picker's guide. It's very well known. This one ended up selling for $40, okay, which is kind of par for the course for this particular variety. And still, it really escapes most people, most hunters' minds that this one exists. So make sure you're not overlooking this coin. It's a big one. And here's a little bit of a price update on one of the more readily available and very searchable varieties. We're all very familiar with the wide AM reverse 1998, 99, and 2000 dated Lincoln Memorials. This is a 2000. It's the most plentiful of the three, I would say, and then 98 and then 99 is the scarcest. Coin's in great shape. I would say, what, Mint State 64 red grade here. So it's a fantastic original survivor. When we look up close here, you could obviously see that really big gap between A&M and America. And the reason why that this is relevant is because the Mint employees inadvertently use the proof reverse die to strike the business strike coins. Okay, and the proof reverse dies had a wide AM variant. All right, so the A&M is supposed to be touching on the regular business strikes, but again, because they used the wrong die in the production of some of these particular coins, they ended up with this pretty substantial gap, you know, in between those two letters. So this one, $16.50 for such a high grade example. Again, this is a normal price level for these. Where it gets probably very expensive is the top pop grade, whatever that may be. It could be a 69 grade for all I know. And those will be many thousands of dollars. But, you know, outside of that, these are very reasonable to pick up in gem condition. And another neat one here, 1935 Buffalo Nickel. This has been known for many years. You know, good job to the seller for attempting those arrows of what you're going to look for. This is the doubled die reverse FS801 Buffalo Nickel. 5 cents is going to exhibit some pretty crazy doubling, as you can see there. Lots of notching, lots of splits. It's quite phenomenal, and even on much lower graded specimens, this is going to show up really well. This one right here sold for $60, and you know, they usually don't go below like 40, 50 bucks, depending on grade. So, you know, you're going to have always a lot of value here. If you need the money and you have one or two of these floating around, you know, you could sell it and do okay on them. Yeah, believe it or not, you just never know what you're going to find roll hunting half dollars. I'm telling you, a lot of people are always, you know, sweating the silver. You know, it's like, we got to find the 40%. We got to find those 90s in there. But how about mint errors or varieties? They are plentiful in here. This is a 2000D Canadian half dollar. You guys notice something funny with this one? Yeah, it's got rotated reverse dies. Counterclockwise, about 30%, somewhere around there, or degrees rather. 130 degree counterclockwise rotated reverse die. This is kind of a big deal It really is. Because again, you know, we like to kind of think that, you know, the mint has better quality control, you know, and this is the year 2000. This is not in a so distant past. So, you know, this is kind of a big deal when things like this show up. And for perspective, they have quite a bit more value than any silver coin you could find. $33.77 was the sale price off of 3 bids. So there you go. Another stunning example of where, you know, an error or variety definitely usurps the value of the silver that a lot of people gun for. Always flip your coin over when given the opportunity and cash in on things like this. Even if you don't particularly care for this error, keep in mind that there are other people that's willing to throw however much money possible at you to own it. All right, because it's not like that these things just simply grow on trees, because they don't. Here's probably one of the worst off photos of the week. 1960D large date Lincoln Memorial cent. Why it's relevant? I just love hunting 1960D Lincoln cents for repunch mint marks. There is a incredible lot of them that you can find for the state. This is yet again one great example. Now, they did so poorly on the full obverse and reverse images, but they knocked it out of the park on the close-up. And I guess that's probably the most important aspect of this. But you could see a completely separate, not completely separate, but you could see a really nice shifted kind of, you know, Denver mint mark that's punched west of the primary on this one. It's one of the strongest ones of the Lincoln Cent series. Probably you can make the argument that the 56D over DFS 501 might be a much better suitor for, you know, RPM enthusiasts, but this one's really nice as well. This one is the FS 502, and it sold for 16 bucks. All right, and it's a date that we come across quite a bit. The mintages are into the hundreds of millions, so there's no shortage of this date. Not the prettiest looking coin, but it's a 1920 Lincoln wheat cent with corrosion and all sorts of stuff. But look at the reverse there. Pretty nice strike through. So whatever was on that die, could have been grease, it could have been, you know, a piece of wood or metal shavings or something to that effect that was on the die that impeded the actual process of striking up full devices on this coin. Yeah, it's again not the prettiest, but you know, $52 is what this one sold for, and that's with 9 bids. All right, this one was organically bid up to $52, and there was quite a bit of interest on this one. So we have a 1950 $10 bill, sure, a little bit older in age for this Federal Reserve note, but it's in great shape. This one looks to be crisp, uncirculated, you know, looks unused. It has no wear whatsoever. The front of the note looks nice. It just looks very pleasing to the eye. All original note here. When we look at the reverse, misaligned back print. All right, those silly people at the BEP, you know, they just love having fun with the paper money to the point where things like this exist. So the front looks perfect. The back is a train wreck, and I love it. You can actually see the next note on the subject sheet there on the left. So this one right here, $205.45 was the sale price. Yes, it's worth every penny. And guess what? It's not graded. So graded example, you barely make probably 10% more on your return. So in that case, it's not worth grading. Just go ahead and sell it as it is. Yeah, how's the extra V market doing? Well, there was a graded example by NGC in a Mid-State 67 red that sold $15 shy of $1,000. Okay, so the market is incredibly alive and awake here on this coin. So obviously the power play, buy those raw coins that people are flipping online, send them off to the grading companies because they are attributing the extra V anomaly or variety or whatever you will call it. This one is not going to be a 67 candidate. It looks good, probably a 65. I would say 65 red, and that's always good for maybe $180 to $200 on the secondary market. It's going to cost you $30 to grade it, and a few more extra dollars for shipping and whatnot. So on this one, you could see that little V notch there next to Victor David Brenner's initials on the obverse face of the coin, and that's going to be at the bottom base of his bust, where it always is. So this one right here, $50.55, seems to be the going rate for nice gem condition coins. I've seen some that are just lights out spectacular. We actually have one coming up here later on in this broadcast that you guys are going to like a little bit more. All right, let's not forget that there's a lot of great stuff to find in quarters. Okay, we had a few of them that we had talked about already up to this point. Here's yet again another one. 2022 Philadelphia Mint Sally Ride Reverse American Woman Quarter. This one has the awesome strike through right on George Washington's ponytail. And you can see it actually go into the fields area right there under In God We Trust. So this is a direct kind of response to what they call field restricted strike through, which is just grease that's been moved around by the feeder finger. So the feeder finger actually makes direct contact with the face of the die, all right, thereby shifting whatever grease is on the die around. So every single field restricted strike through is going to have a completely, not completely, but a different shape to it. There's no two coins that are exactly alike, all right. I challenge you to find 2 or 3 coins that all look exactly the same for the shape of that strike through. So this one right here, $11.98. Could have sold for a lot more. I've seen these jump up to $30-40 here recently. There's a pretty big contact mark on the reverse rim next to Dr. Sally Ride's name right there. So again, that plays into condition does matter on these coins. Here's a 1864 Indian head cent. This is the L on ribbon. Okay, another thing to know that if it's in low grade, you don't know if that L on ribbon is on there. You can also take a look at the point of Lady Liberty's bust. If it's pointed, odds are that it's going to be an L on ribbon. It's, of course, one of the more desirable variety design types. But this one is also on here because it's got a really phenomenal repunch date. I mean, without me getting close to it, you can see the 1 and 8 are very repunched on there. You know, kind of let you guys know, back in the heyday, you know, 160 years ago, the Mint employees actually punched the numbers by hand onto the working die. All right, so now you know, and that's why things like this occur at this age and not on newer coins. You know, we haven't seen these since the turn of the century, and that's the 1900 century and not the 2000s. So this one right here, $42.99. Again, has everything to do with grade. It's a good example. You know, nothing too crazy. Here's a head scratcher. I think because of the eye appeal, you know, the toning, you know, call it artificial or whatever, it doesn't look quite right. 1989 Lincoln Memorial Cent. It's off center. Okay, so that's the big error here, but of course you got that eye appeal. Whether it's artistic, artificial toning, or the real deal, that kind of adds the value here on this one. $45.36. Really surprising result here with 41 bids. There was a lot of activity here, and again, I think it's the eye appeal that really drug people in to this sale. We also have, again, just a huge banging coin from Coins and Cards. Glad to see it. 1955, double the die offers, Lincoln Wheat Cent. FS 101, I'd say it's a nice solid AU brown that we're seeing here. But this particular seller just continues to crank out and kind of buck the trend that big coins like this doesn't need to be graded. Okay, if you know what you're looking for, and you know the legitimacy and the pickup points of these big varieties and various key dates, then you're good to go. So this one, $2,650, 81 bids. Again, another heavy-hitting, eye-catching coin this week. And yeah, I mean, this one needs no further talk. It's just a banger. As kind of a counterpoint, this one sold very well too. So because of the previous coin, there's something called the poor man's doubled die that exists, which is simply just a doubled appearance to the last 5 in the date. And that's all due to die deterioration. All right, it's real simple. This one is a really nice premium example. The poor man's doubled die coins have been well known since the issue of this one, going back decades. There were even a few coin dealers that had published in local newspapers saying that they were going to buy these things for like $5-10, which in 1955 money is huge. You know, it'll buy you a number of cans of beans. But today, are they still relevant? First of all, that's what see that extra shadowed 5 there? That's the poor man's doubled die. So you would be more than surprised to know that this one sold for $80 with 20 bids. And this one was bid up to $80. So, yeah, there is still quite a dedicated fan base for these coins. Just keep in mind that nice high-grade BU Reds, you know, with this will sell, most assuredly. We also have this one here, another Cud die break. Always good to see, 1983 Philadelphia. You can see the Cud at the base of Lincoln's bust there. A little bit weakening on the word states on the reverse, which is what you want to see. Again, Cud's always a big deal these days. This one sold for $25.86, and that's with 4 bids. We had a few coins that were struck through late stage capped dies, so the coin was stuck to the die. So this is a 1989 example. Note the well-struck reverse and the weak obverse, which is indicative of a struck through capped die strike. This particular one sold for $22.56 with 9 bids. And then we also have a 69D, a very incredibly late capped die strike. And yeah, when you're able to see like Liberty and the date really well, that capped die is incredibly razor paper thin on that die. So all of the original devices of the die are striking through that very thin cap and onto the coins. But you're going to note, again, the strong reverse strike. This one right here, $27 with 20 bids. Beautiful coins. I love finding these, and I've owned many of them over the last 20-25 years. And yeah, rotated die errors are always something to always keep in the back of your mind on peace dollars and Morgan dollars. Okay, it doesn't matter what condition or what you have. This is a 19010. Okay, relatively common date, and you know, look at your scrap silver, ladies and gentlemen. This one has a rotated die of about 80-85 degrees clockwise. The seller did a really good job using a clear plastic 2x2 and just drew in little marks with a Sharpie to showcase the rotation here. All right, or you could very much use a cardboard 2x2 and then using the staples as markers to show the rotation if you didn't want to play like the whole mirror trick or whatever. So this one right here, $254.99. I'm willing to bet that after this video, some of you are going to open up your collection of just bulk call Morgan and peace dollars to make sure you're not overlooking for things like this, because they're going to turn a coin that's worth $25 into 10 times that amount of money. And that's what the meaning, the definition of cherry picking is finding stuff like this and buying it for just scrap silver. Couple last coins. Here's also that great looking Extra V 2023. This would be like a solid, very easily 66 grade with an outside shot of a 67. Wow. And there, you can see not the best close up, but you can see the little V notch there in that spot. This one also sold for $50. I mean, if I had to compare this one to the one that we had talked about, I'd probably lean on this one a little bit more. And the final coin we're going to talk about is our one lone graded coin. There you go. The Drummer Boy Bicentennial Quarter. Again, I cannot stress that any sort of mint error that you can find on this coin will automatically kick this one into overdrive. All right. A coin that, you know, if this was a 1977 Washington quarter with an off-center strike of about 20%, we're talking about a coin that would be normally worth about 35 to 40 bucks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this one, graded by NGC, which I would do that all day long with a Bicentennial, as a Mid-State 66, there you go, even says 20% off center, $852.92 was the sold price on this. This one, write it off, it's gone. No longer available. And that is kind of like the big polarizing difference between any other date of Washington quarter and this one right here. Bicentennials by trade are incredibly pursued. They are prized by a lot of error aficionados and just the people that love this design, like myself included. We see the value in these, and they constantly sell for these incredible rates that are just unheard of in any other coin. All right, so that's going to go ahead and wrap things up. Boy, I'm willing to bet you guys out there, probably a few of you, are ready to dive into some bank boxes or something, or going to the next coin show. This video is for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Please do collect and grade responsibly. And of course, thank you for supporting your boy Blue. I'm your host, Sean. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to not only the channel, but the content. Today's video, if you like it, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to know more and you're, looking forward to the next video. We publish daily. And that's going to go ahead and wrap things up. I wish you guys nothing but the best in all of your hunts. You guys have been phenomenal, and I hope to see you guys here real soon on the next coin video. Take care.